Welcome to the Kim D Snyder Show, episode number 151. This is a podcast show for business owners, leaders, and executives by a business owner, leader, and executive as a day in the life. Here are some things I want to share with you as you think about your 2022 business plan. And these are areas that are often overlooked or not typically what you see in a business plan. And we're going to look at those in 4 areas of marketing, operations, revenue, and efficiency. So first is marketing. And look to make sure that your marketing risk is spread across multiple channels. And I typically see this only done in certain areas. I see it either all online or all offline or all on social media and not in certain areas. And I see this at all size companies. I also see not enough thought leadership, not enough coming out of your company that shows why you're the expert, why people should pick you. I see a lot of people blending in. Operations. This is probably one of the biggest areas, but it is for the labor component. And so it's time to think about roles and responsibilities completely different. Think about roles and talent that you're going to need in 2, 3, 5 years. So you might have the plan set up, but make sure you have the right talent and or you're training your existing talent. So there's a benefit to bringing new talent in. They bring in new ideas. There's a benefit to keeping team there for some of the longevity as long as they have the right mindset. And then the responsibilities in some ways are going to lessen, but they're going to deepen in strength and or specific areas. So now they're even going to become a bigger expert in one area, but that also enables them to start connecting and collaborating for other areas, which leads me to the third area in the revenue area. And yes, revenue, but I look at it from a product mix. Make sure you have the right product mix and you're looking at the data to show you what's the most profitable. What is the right mix between labor and non-labor that gives you that risk that's spread? And this works if you're an internal team and you need to look at this as your external customers, but are really internal customers. And this looks at it if you're a business or even a nonprofit. Go ahead and look at these terms that I'm sharing with you in all areas. And the last area in the relationship area is looking at relationships strategic so that you have them so that you can expand to areas that you need to. So not only having the team, but expansion, but also relationships internally. And how do you know if you have really good relationships internally? Well, 1 is culture, but 2, if you're doing collaborations. So culture is a key area for the last area of efficiency. And culture comes from leadership. So culture, as you start looking forward in the next year's plans, is going to be, forget the pivot, really reimagine what your workplace is going to look like. And it's not so much as black and white of hybrid or in person. It's how do we start taking an 8-hour turnaround time to having a 24-hour turnaround time, but still heading those delivery components that we want to hit? How do we have these pods of people that can come together to collaborate and pull apart to re-collaborate in different areas? And so really, really thinking about your business differently. And the last area in efficiency is really a leadership, and it goes back to culture, because without good leadership, you don't have the right culture. And you want to make sure your culture is something that is attracting people because you're doing really cool stuff. You want to be the place to work. And in order to do that, you've got to have the right mindset of your leadership team. You've got to have the right tools and resources for them. And so most organizations, the leadership team aren't trained on how to lead and aren't trained on how to collaborate with their team and within the organization and customers. And so making sure you have a team, a leadership team in place that will lead your organization where it wants to be, and getting them the right tools and recognizing that, because a lot of folks realized they didn't have the right training for the right team in place. And so now you have that opportunity, but make sure you include this in your business plan, because a lot of times people don't. And so if you've got some big things that you want to happen towards the end of the year, you need to make sure that you have the training and the talent in place for that to happen, not only for this year's, but for future years. For the show notes for this episode, go to kimdsnyder.com/151.